Overwatch 2's been getting better lately. I made a video recently about the new perks update that's just come out and how it's changed things up enough to make Overwatch feel fresh again. But they've come out with something way bigger this week with the new Stadium mode, and something that a lot of people are looking forward to because this is really going to potentially change things up quite a lot.
Here we go. Here we go.
Let's get a look at our competitors.
While the perks gave each character one or two different choices to make during a game that'll sort of lead their character one way or another, the Stadium mode adds this whole new competitive mode which has you doing a lot more than just picking from two perks, but instead you're actually faced with a sort of whole shop front, just like some other games do, where depending on how much currency you make during the rounds, you can use them to then buy upgrades that you carry going forwards. I'm going to get a little bit into that. This also comes with the new season that has a few major updates as well in terms of character updates to the way they play. Some of the perks have been changed. Some of the maps have been updated to work together with Stadium, as well as some new maps that are actually being used in Stadium, which is kind of cool. And then, of course, in Stadium, one of the big differences is the fact that you can actually play in third person now, which is quite a change, but of course it's something that Marvel Rivals is doing right now, and it's also something that they know allows them to sort of get more value out of their skins and things like that, because you can see your character running around all the time. It's not just in highlight reels and all of that. There's also a new character that came out officially now with this patch, which is Freya, who I always call Valkyrie for some reason, but yeah, she flies around, she's got a bow and arrow, she's basically like Hanzo with wings, which means I'm not a big fan, but that shouldn't take away my key focus, which is that I hate Sombra, and I think she should be deleted from the game. But, of course, in the patch notes I read that they've now made Sombra stronger, so I don't know, why do they hate me? Okay, so let's get on forward to Stadium mode, talk a bit about it and how it works and exactly what it is, but I'm not gonna get too deep into it. I'm just gonna sort of run through it so you can also get a bit of a feel of what this is and if it's worth you jumping back into Overwatch 2 to play or try, or if you're someone who's doing it already and you just want to sort of hear other opinions.
It's a fierce competition. Who will cave to the pressure and who will come out on top?
How it works in Stadium mode is that there are only a limited amount of characters that they've gotten set up so far, because each character now has a whole bunch of different abilities and skills and things that you can pick from to upgrade them like a full build as the thing goes on. Now you're locked into your character, so if you pick from one of the limited characters available right now, so let's say you can pick Soldier or Moira or Juno, you don't get to change. You are stuck with them right till the end of the game, and these Stadium games can run quite long. They can go like half an hour easily, so you want to go with someone that you are going to stick with. And how it works is in the beginning you have to pick a few options, and then as the game goes on and as you're making currency over each round, you're now bringing up a menu and you're picking little things to make builds. And I'm sure that over time there's going to be builds all over the internet where people are finding the best variations or different variations for certain situations, but it is quite cool, it's quite interesting. However, it can be quite overwhelming. There's quite a lot to learn. Now, they've also put in a lot of hand-holding, and they've given a lot of time to sort of figure these things out in the beginning, which is a good thing. The announcer will come up and the announcer will tell you that there is a certain amount of time left to pick, your heroes' things, and it sort of just constantly chats to you a little bit and says, oh, you need to pick this, and remember this one you can't take back, because there's certain major powers at the top that you pick and then they're set for the whole game, but then there's smaller ones that you can then sell again, so you can pick it and sell it to use it and update and use other powers, because of course some of these updates are bigger and they're more expensive, so you might pick a few smaller ones to begin with, then later on you might have some of the more expensive ones and still a few smaller ones, or just a whole bunch of the smaller ones. But they can do quite a few things. They can range anywhere from just increasing your ability power a little bit or your movement speed a little bit, all the way up to some more hectic ones that might completely change the way one of your character's power works. Like if they shoot something, they might shoot two of them instead. Or if, I was playing with Moira, and especially combined with these big powers on top, you can get these changes where instead of shooting just one ball, she'll shoot, let's say if you shoot a healing ball, it'll shoot a secondary opposite ball, so a damage ball will come out, but only, let's say, half or 75% as effective, and so on. But as a result, things like ramp up a lot over the course of the games, and they give you these example builds that you can use in the beginning. So they have thought this through, and it's quite nice. It feels very overwhelming, but if you just go through the process a few times, you start feeling more comfortable with it. But you can use these example builds that sort of let you know what works together, and then you can start going individually into different tabs and then picking things yourself. So yeah, there's a lot of depth that can be found here, which I think is what the big appeal is going to be here. Over time, there's going to be a lot to get through, and every time they add more characters, there's going to be a lot to add and a lot to change. Although good luck to them for finding out how the heck they're going to balance all of that. Once things get going, the game itself, as I mentioned, can get quite chaotic. So as the powers are ramping up and as everything's ramping up, things just get sort of crazier and crazier, because suddenly Reaper is doing little mini ultimates every time he's teleporting, and Juno is shooting out goodness knows how many torpedoes from the sky, and Moira's got 4 balls flying out of her every time she does something. So it gets quite intense. And like in the first game we played, it's the footage that you see where I'm flying around as D.Va. Like, it was just crazy. Like, we didn't know what to expect, but when we got in, we couldn't kill anyone, and I was just surprised by how much all the characters were staying alive. It wasn't a battle of who's living and who's dying. A lot of it was just this battle of who's going to take the point in a scenario where like everyone is permanently fighting, and there aren't, easy things like team wipes and things like that. So it was a little bit of a trial by fire for us. It was a bit of a harsh thing. And I've seen on Reddit some people are complaining that they've, played 5-6 games now of Stadium and they've just lost all of them. So yeah, I don't know. Overwatch already has a bit of a balancing issue right now. So I don't know how this is going to go, if it's going to get better or worse. But yeah, in terms of this whole new mode, it is a whole lot more to take in, and it's a whole sort of different approach. And this could really become what Overwatch 2 is. This could be what really would constitute Overwatch 2 being a different game over Overwatch 1. Because it really does change things up a lot with all of these different, aspects and dynamics and elements that can really change gameplay and all of that. However, I'm not so sure how I feel about everything, because it's fun to play, but at the same time, with all the chaos, it feels like it's maybe a bit too chaotic. At the moment, we're all still learning what's going on, so maybe that'll get fixed over time as you sort of learn how to do things and how it works. But for the moment, it's just the Wild West. You're just sort of moving around and using all your cool powers. I find that, some changes to your builds can go a long way. I was having a big problem with D.Va when I started playing with her that first game, and then when I made some changes, changed up the power to her rockets and things, suddenly I could actually get a few picks on people, get a few kills. There's also the aspect that, this might go into more of a proper competitive or esports direction. I don't know how that's going to go. The truth is, most of us are casual players, or, we're just playing around for fun, or we're trying to do well, but, we're not going into esports. So I really hope they don't do something like, ruin it for everyone else just so that the esports can be good. But hopefully this pans out. I want it to work out, because this is good. This is more to play. This is fun stuff, and competition's always good. That's why I'm happy that Marvel Rivals is around, because it forces everyone to have to work that little bit harder to one up the competitor, So there's more characters coming over time. Like I said, there's a lot to balance. How this works out in the long run remains to be seen. But overall, I've had fun with it in the time that I spent with it now. I played a bunch of games, and I'll see how it goes over more time. But yeah, I can see this also becoming a bit of a stuff up. I can see this becoming an issue where it's just steamrolls, or people who do it a lot win all the time and people get frustrated. It can go either way, so I'm interested to see where it goes. If you're listening to this now and you're wondering about, if this is worth bringing you in, my personal opinion right now is, if you haven't played Overwatch in a while, I'm not sure if this is going to tempt you back in. I think the perk system on quick play and the other competitive modes and stuff are great. That was just enough to sort of manage and learn and bring into the mix, and then start enjoying. Like, that's cool. Even that was a bit much to sort of figure out what all the other characters are doing. This is a lot. There's just a lot going on. So I think this is more for the established players to find something new to do, rather than something that is going to maybe tempt back people who haven't played in a while. That said, if it gains momentum, you might find that the game is more popular over time, and then it gets a healthier player base going and so on. And I really hope with Stadium they streamline things over time. There's been some complaints that the extra time they're giving at the moment is too much. that things take too long. And like I said, it's hand holding. It is good for now, but it'll be good over time to see that they maybe streamline the processes or allow you to set some things up that things can move along smoother and quicker. But yeah, I'm going to keep trying it and I'm going to keep playing it, and I'm hoping that it gets good. But for now, I'm not sure if it's going to be a full replacement over the standard Overwatch experience, or if it's something that I'm going to end up leaving behind, or if it's something that ends up really taking over. So that's my general feeling. If you're listening to this, tell me if you're interested enough to jump back into it. If you have been playing Stadium mode, please jump into the comments as well. Give me your insight. Maybe you played this game a heck of a lot more than me. I've been playing way too much of it over the last 2 months now since the perks update came out. And but there's people I've done in my life, probably, I think I was looking at the stats the other day, I've done over 1,000 hours of Overwatch, but I mean, there's some people who have done 5 times, 10 times that. So if you're a smarty pants when it comes to things like that, please jump in the comments. Let us know what you think. You might have some really good insight into this kind of thing. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button to let me know, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.
Time for the reckoning! Eyes open, man. I feel the burn. That's a wrap.